All right. Good afternoon, everyone, or good morning if you're from the US. Today we're going to do a little bit of a joint live stream between me from Backlight and Louis from Specify to show a very cool workflow with Figma and design tokens and creating a coded component. We'll just start things off just to do a little bit of an introduction for me and for Louis. Maybe Louis, you can start by introducing yourself, who you are.
Yes, thanks, Joren. Well, thanks a lot for the invitation, first of all. So my name is Louis. I'm one of Specify App co-founder. And yeah, basically a few words about Specify. So we help organizations manage their brand at scale. And so concretely what we do, we collect design decisions from your tools, we store them in a central source of truth, and then we distribute those design decisions in the right format at the right time for the right team, automatically thanks to a design API.
All right, cool. So yeah, I'm Joren. I'm a Dutch engineer working at Diff Riots, work on Backlight mostly. And one of my main concerns at the moment is to really include designers in our workflows. So not just having developers coding design systems, but also having designers being included there. So there's a lot of work going on there with Figma and how to get design decisions from Figma towards the coded components, basically. So and today actually we're going to be looking at our products, Specify and Backlight, and how they can complement each other in the workflow. That really makes for a really powerful designer developer workflow where you make sure you converge together and not diverge and get out of sync all the time. So we'll just dive right into it. And we're just going to set up this workflow from scratch. So we're going to start with nothing, just a Figma file with maybe one component inside of it. And then we're going to go into setting up a workflow, creating a repository, and starting off this design system. And then we'll show the full workflow and why it's so powerful. So I'll just start by sharing my screen, and then I'll give a little bit of a tour of the Figma file that I have set up. So in this, and Louis, make sure to interrupt me if you want to add anything. And if you have questions, by the way, for the viewers, feel free to ask them. We'll definitely address them at the end, maybe even during the stream. So feel free to ask. So we got a Figma file over here. And we've got some colors and we got a button component. And that's just what we're going to be using for the demo today. So we got a little, we got this primary color, which is just a bit of an indigo. I took something that's kind of similar to the Specify brand. And then I went with a little with a gray color, and it goes from 50 to 900. That's mostly the lightness. And then there's a button that is using these color tokens, and the button has tokens itself as well. So if we look at our color styles inside Figma, we can see here, if we collapse all this, we see that we have some color styles. We see it with core colors, and there's a primary color and a gray color. You can see 50 to 900. And then there's also button colors, and they're using, so these button primary variant, it's using a background color and a text color, and it has a hover background, an active shadow, inside shadow. It has a focus outline color, and it has a disabled color. So it's using colors from the palettes that we have over here. So these button colors are using from the core primary colors and the core gray colors. So that's important. We're going to build this button component in the stream, making sure that we use these design tokens. So to start off, so now I've shown the Figma file. It's a good idea to make sure that this Figma file, these color styles, that everything is published. So I check here, I go over here, I go to libraries. And we can see here, there's under libraries, Specify demo, that's the file that I'm in at the moment. And it says published and up to date. So we can see here that we got all these styles. And before I forget, we don't just have color styles, we also have a text style. So this is the button content, we call it. So it's the text inside of the button, basically, which is using Inter, I think, as a font. So for sure this is published, and now it's time to connect it to Specify, where we can store these design tokens. So I'm going to give it to Louis, and he's going to do that for us.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to share my screen. Select screen. Okay. So first of all, if we go on the Specify App website, you first have to understand that the flow we are going to do is we're going to get design tokens from Figma. So Specify is going to collect those design decisions from your tool, and then those design decisions will be stored in a central source of truth in Specify, and then we will have to connect a destination, like, and here in our case, it will be a GitHub environment which will be connected to Backlight, and so we will have to connect both Figma and GitHub to Specify. And so this is what I'm going to do, and we will have to create the structure, the place in Specify where those colors and textiles will be stored. And this is what I'm going to show you right now. So right now we are inside Specify, and when we create a folder inside Specify, we do not create a folder, we create a repository. Because like in GitHub, you will push design data from a source, in our case, Figma, from Figma to Specify, and then you will pull this design data from Specify to your destination. So yeah, let's create a repository that is called Specify by Demo. So once this repository is created, obviously this is empty, and the first thing we have to do is to help help Specify get design decisions from a specific source. And in our case, our source is a Figma document. So I'm just gonna grab, I will grab the file of the Figma file that Joren gave me earlier, and we will use it. So by default, this Figma file could be associated to your Figma organization, your personal or your professional Figma organization. So the first thing you would have to do is to connect an app to Specify. And in our case, what you would have to do is to connect your app as a source or as a destination. In our case, we want to get design tokens and here colors and textiles from Figma. So we would have to connect Figma as a source. I've already done this for my Specify organization, but here the Figma file I will be using to access it, Joren just gave me the link, and if I have the link, then I can access to the content of the Figma file. So yeah, so let's go back to our repositories and to our repository we just created. So we have to make a first choice here. Do we want to synchronize design tokens or assets? Because Specify helps you synchronize both of those design data types. And here we will start by synchronizing colors. So we select design tokens. And when you select design tokens, you first have to, what kind of design tokens do we want to synchronize? So here we want to synchronize colors. So select color, and then I select the Figma account I've already connected to Specify, and I continue. And here, the Figma file I will be using is the one Joren gave me earlier today, and I select from new file, and I give it to Specify like this. And then basically what I'm doing here is I am creating a source, and a source from Specify's point of view is basically a place where you have design decisions that are already defined, and you want Specify to regularly check if you have something new or if some design decisions have changed, in this specific place. And so a source from Specify's point of view is connection between a Specify repository and a place where you have defined some of your design decisions. So basically during this step, Specify tells me that by default, it will look inside your Figma local styles and your Figma libraries. But Specify is also compatible with frames. So if you chose to ignore Figma libraries, then you will still be able to use Specify. And one of the most important thing of using a design API is basically provide autonomy for designers, so that once you have connected your Figma files to Specify and Specify to other destinations like a GitHub repository or a Backlight environment, for instance, then every time you change something, you change a color or a text size in Figma, then Specify will detect it because it will regularly check if you have something new in your source. And so you won't have to send a message to a developer to ask, okay, can you update this value for me in the code because I do not know how to do this. Things will be handled by the design API. So basically, you will have more time to focus on what really matters, which is your product and your end users. And now, as a designer, I can check, okay, if Specify detected everything that I defined in my document. And here, Specify tells me that, okay, I've detected 32 colors inside the Figma file. And in the Figma file, I have many colors, including the one defined for the button and the core values that are created here. So 32 colors. I save, and now every person that is using Specify in this organization can access all of the colors. So as you can see here, you have colors named after the structure you've created inside Figma. So if I go back to our color stars, we have a core folder, and then we have a colors folder, and then we have two child folders, which are primary and gray. And so, for instance, the first color here, 50, will be named color/colors/primary/50. Like here, color/colors/gray/50. No, sorry, this one, exactly. And so now let's grab our textiles as well. And as you will see, the process is exactly the same. So now I have to choose, okay, I want to synchronize textiles. I continue, and I do not have to provide the link because I've already done this. So I select Specify Demo, I continue, and this process is basically exactly the same. And Specify will grab the textile that was created inside Figma. And what Specify will do more is, under the hood, your textiles are also using a font. And this font, as you can see here, the font files have been automatically fetched by Specify. And so here you can see that the font interregular is now available inside Specify. So you will be able to grab your textiles, your colors, and the font files associated to your textiles. And now I will show you how you can connect this Specify repository to a GitHub repository. Joren, you told me that you wanted to create the GitHub repository through Backlight, so maybe it's your turn now.
Okay, so I'll go back to sharing my side. Browser. It's this one. No, not this one. Too many browser tabs. It's also not this one. Maybe I just didn't have a browser tab for this yet. So that's fine. So what we will do, we go to backlight.dev, and we'll start a new, click login. And what we're going to do now, we're going to create this project. So we're going to create this design system. So this is an existing design system. So if I want a new design system, I can click over here on design system. And there's going to be a new button, new design system. So I click here. Then I get a big choice of the different kind of starter kits that I can use. So that's pretty nice. We're just going to go with the blank project for now. We don't really need these starters, because I already have pretty much in my head how I want to set it up. So we just click a blank starter kit. And we're going to start with just renaming this. So we're going to call this, maybe let's call it Specify Demo. And I put this on a workspace that's shared between me and Louis. We actually still have one, so that's very nice. We're going to save this. So now we have a nice name. And what we want to do now is we want to actually connect this to GitHub. So we have some starter stuff. We want to connect this to GitHub. So we click on this GitHub, and we say create repository. And then we click on GitHub. So we have some, create repository or Figma, it's actually on a different organization. So what I need to do is install the Backlight app on that organization, I guess. I'll add a different organization here. That's a good question, actually. That's good. Interesting. Wonder if I can install this app in a nice way. So we go to the organization, to GitHub. I go to my organizations. We have an organization set up here, specify backlight demo. And then here we actually want to install the Backlight app. So let's see if we can do that by searching for it. Yeah, doesn't seem like we can do that. So if anyone has maybe Mats can help me out here. Like, how do I install a different organization? That would be good. Yeah, because right here it only shows 2 of them. So it only shows mine, it only shows the DivRights one that I'm connected to. So it would be nice if I could do a different organization. Interesting. So what we can do, we can go to Backlight, we can go to the docs, and we can find out maybe. So GitHub. App. This is the one. Configure. Now we can choose organization. Let's do all repositories. So we install the Backlight app. So that's good. So now, I hope I can do is refresh this. Go to Git now, create repository. And I cannot do that. So I cannot do it on that organization. Interesting. Let's see if they have a nice hint for me. No, they don't have a hint for me. So what we can do instead is, instead of using that organization, we'll just do it on my, let's hope that works. So we'll just do it on here. You'll book them a specify demo. In the meantime, if Mats or Thijs or anyone is watching and they know how to install the GitHub app on a different organization, then let me know. And we can do it in that way. But for now, I will just go with this. All right. So what we can do now is install the GitHub app for that repository. So we now have a specify demo. save it. And that should mean that we have the app installed. So now if we click on Git, we can see it's connected. We have a main branch. It's a default branch, so it's locked. And now we can start setting it up. So I'll just make a new branch here called setup. And so now we have a new branch. And what we can do now, since we have a GitHub repository, we can try to install Specify to that GitHub repository. So if I go to the GitHub repository, it's under my name, Specify demo. All right, so here it is. So what we do now, we have this Specify demo, and now it's up to Louis again to set it up to connect the Specify repository to this GitHub repository.
Yeah, I think that I will need the to be able to access this repository. So yeah, can you add me as a collaborator? Yeah, perfect. Okay, maybe I will receive an email. Okay, so I can. So let's go back to Specify. Okay. So now let's go back to the apps catalog and yeah, connect a new application. So now I do not want to install an application as a source, but I want to install an application as a destination because I want Specify to distribute our design tokens somewhere. So let's select destinations and here GitHub. So let's connect, and now I should be able to access the repository Specify demo. No, it's not my repositories. I think you know what, Joren? I think you will have, as I'm not part of your account. This is your GitHub account.
There's a pending invite. You should have it in your email.
Okay.
Collaborate.
Okay. Accept invitation. Okay, perfect. So now I have accepted. Let's try again. Let's refresh. But I don't think it will change because this the GitHub repository you've invited me to is associated to your personal GitHub account. And here, if I do this, I am only able to access organizations I have access to or my personal GitHub account and not yours. So I think we should create a common GitHub organization.
Yeah, we have one. It's now the question is, how do we make Backlight see it?
Yeah,
the trouble.
we have to use the one we've created earlier today.
So if we switch to my screen, I can try it again. If we can get some further.
Yeah.
So let's see. So I'm just going to disconnect this repository now. So we still have this project, Specify demo. I'm going to try to create repository. I'm going to see maybe it changed by now, loading existing repositories. And it still doesn't have the organization. So something is broken for sure. Yeah. That's tricky. How did we do it last time? We did it's the specify POC. We set it up to Joren Louis. This repository has you. It's because I was using the. I was owning this.
It was your Specify repository. It was your Specify organization.
Yeah. Well, we can do that as well. It's a little bit. I have to move through the Specify steps. So my colleagues have not been able to help me yet, so we'll just do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go to Unify app. Open the app, I guess. Yes. I'm going to remove one of these. Let's remove this one. So I think I only have 3. Repository name. So we'll call it Specify Demo. Create the repository. And we need to go to sources at the design token category. The color. We'll continue with this. And then we have to check we have to get the file. So I open Figma, copy link. It's a new file.
Yeah, you can click on the main call to action if you want. Yeah. It will be quicker. Yeah. You don't need to wait for things to load.
So I can just save anyway.
Yeah, you can just save and it will be displayed anyway.
Okay, nice. And then we have to do another one, right? So sources.
No, you can just add a token category in the left sidebar. You see that, yeah, just right under a color, right under a color. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I see.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And it's textile. Yep, this is good. This is existing file. We can do specify demo. Yeah, this is all looking proper. So then we go to destination, right?
Yeah. So if you go to you can connect another app, or you can go to the applications catalog. Just
oh yes, right. So we go here. We go to apps.
Yeah.
Then we have if rights, and we connect another GitHub. And then it's
yeah.
Is it still this organization? No, we're using mine, right? No. Yeah. So we have to make sure that we add this. So now that should be good.
Yeah. So basically, I just want to explain to people what we just did. Basically, what we did is we connected your personal GitHub account to Specify, so that if now Specify has access to the Specify-demo GitHub repository you've created, but Specify doesn't know what to do yet. The only thing we gave is access to a specific GitHub repository from your GitHub account to Specify.
Yep. Okay, so now that we have our source Figma set up and our destination GitHub set up, let's go and connect Backlight to it. So we have go into Specify demo. We can go here now, and we have our Specify demo. We can create a repository. And now we can select it. It already exists. Consider another name. Let's see, Specify demo. Let's remove that repository first, and then create it, and it should be okay. So to the danger zone, this repository. Now let's refresh this. There we go. I'm happy. So now we can do Figma, specify demo. We can create the repository, and then it's all connected. So we wait for this. Yeah, we skip this step, or we can click here. This should already be set up. Click skip. Maybe this is still the old one. Let me just remove that and then add it again. Okay, there we go. And then if we refresh this, okay, we'll just assume that it's installed because I think it should be. So yeah. So we're just going to click new branch, and we're going to say, so what we actually first want to do is we want to make sure that the tokens get added to GitHub now. So let's start with that. So we have our GitHub repository. Let's see, repository, where is it? Specify demo. And what we want to do now is to make sure that Specify actually is able to output the design tokens into a format that we like. So and the format that we want to use here is style dictionary format. Style dictionary is a way to take design tokens and export them to different platforms. Things like CSS custom properties or JavaScript variables or SAS variables or even Android tokens or iOS tokens. So in order to do this, and you can actually, if you go to Specify Apps and you go to the docs, you will actually see the documentation on this. So if you go here and then you go to the configuration, then you can watch this video and see how you can set up, to set up Specify. But I already have it over here. So let me just a second. So we go to GitHub. We create a new file over here. So we do add file, create new file. And this one's going to be .specify rc.json. And I have some set up already. So if you put a JSON file here, you need to make sure that this repository over here, that it matches your Specify repository. This is not your GitHub repository. This is your Specify repository. It's really good to know that. And for me, it is called @div_riot, and then it's called Specify demo. We can specify demo. We can double check it by going to the Specify app. Let's see. Let's open app. We see repositories and we see specify demo over here. So we can see @div_riot/specify demo. So it should be good. We can see here we can put multiple rules in here, and we have one rule. We want our colors, design tokens colors, and basically we can say design tokens because we have not just colors, we have everything. So I just name it like this. And we're going to put it in a path called SD input. It's just for our organization that we understand that this is going to be the JSON files that are going to be put in this are going to be our style dictionary input JSONs. And then we can put a parser over here. So the parser that we'll be using today is a toStyle dictionary parser. So this will take the tokens from Specify and output them into a style dictionary compatible format so that we can use style dictionary to export them to different platforms. So we look at this. I think it's all good. Right, Louis?
Yeah, this looks good. Yeah.
All right. So I'm going to commit this file directly to the main branch. And if everything goes correct, we should be able to refresh and mistaken, we should get a pull request. Yes.
We should.
Yeah, let's double check this. Is this correct? If right, it's specify demo. Specify demo. I can remove these stubs. @div_riot specify demo. Do you think it might make sense to click sync tokens over here?
We could, and the other thing we could check if is the destinations page associated to this repository, so that we can see that where this design data stored inside this repository will be distributed to.
So destinations, yes? Or?
And I think here we're missing something, actually. We should see, I'm gonna
Oh, okay. Look, we don't have this destination, I don't think. Do we? Details. Because I think we deleted the repository and then we remade it. So it's probably got the wrong one.
Mm.
That would be my guess, at least. So I think if we remove this here and then add it again, it should be okay. Would be my guess. Okay, it is now. Close. It's destinations. Okay, this is better now. Because now we have this section.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it should work. Yeah.
Okay. And we have a pull request. Okay, so it was the deleting of the repository and then making it under the same name. It's still at the old reference to the old repository. That's why it wasn't working. That's an interesting quirk. So we click on this one, and we can actually see now that we have a pull request from Specify from the app. That will add some files if everything's good. So we can see here that we have a font JSON with our font, our text file, and we also have our base JSON for our colors. So we got our core colors primary, our gray, and we got our button primary and outline. And we have a font over here, a font size, and then we have a line height over here as well. I think everything looks good.
Yeah. One thing I would like to just add for people who may not be familiar with Style Dictionary is that Style Dictionary is basically a design tokens generator. So it will take as input agnostic and raw tokens defined as JSON and maybe also in YAML. So the first thing you have to give to Style Dictionary are design tokens, and those design tokens have to be structured a specific way. And then you will have to configure Style Dictionary to transform those design tokens the way you want. But the thing that Specify will help you do with Style Dictionary is not to help you write your Style Dictionary configuration. That is completely up to you. Specify will save time for your team by generating all of those agnostic and generic files containing all of your different design token types you can see here. So in this pull request, what Specify did is it generated files for containing colors and also other information used to create text styles. And those files will be consumed by Style Dictionary to create tokens for a variety of platforms.
Yep. All right. So what we'll do now is we'll go and since we have our tokens input now, we can. I think it looks good, so I will just merge the pull request, so it will get merged to main. So we'll do that. We can delete this branch. And then if we go here, we can go to our main branch, and we can refresh. And we now have a package called SD input. I actually want to put it underneath infrastructure. It's just an auto-generated file, so we don't really want to offer them or edit them because they're auto-generated. So if I go to my studio config JSON, I can actually put the input inside of it. So I need to make a new branch. So I'll just say set up SD, style dictionary. And as soon as I have a new branch, I can actually start editing. So here, SD input goes into the infrastructure, and you can see it gets moved. That's just for our organization. It's nice to do it in that way. So what we want to do now is we want to take those SD input files, style dictionary input files. We want to take them and make output files. So we're going to actually make a folder in a bit called SD output as well, which is also auto-generated. So I'll put it in the infrastructure as well. What we can do now is we can go to, we can click on this plus button and create a file called sd.config.cjs. CJS stands for Common JS. It's a type of JavaScript that is associated with Node.js. You can also do ES modules, but Today we're going to do CommonJS formats, and the reason why is because style dictionary is still written in CommonJS. It's a Node.js library. Basically, in Backlight, you have the option. You can say, I want to do it in CommonJS or ES modules. You can choose. But as soon as you eject from Backlight and you want to do it locally without choosing Backlight, you can. But because style dictionary is itself a Node.js library, CommonJS is then the format that you'll need. So just for reducing sort of vendor lock-in, or to prevent vendor lock-in, that you're not attached to Backlight in any way, it's a recommendation to use CommonJS format. So we'll do this, and we'll save it. Here we can see this is a little style dictionary configuration file that I prepared. So we can say we have an export here of an object. This is the configuration object. So the first thing here is, I'll make it a little bit bigger. It's a source. So we want to say, okay, we got our SD input folder, and any JSON file inside that folder we want to use as our input, as our source. So this looks good. And then in our transform, we have a little bit of a transformer that will reduce the name a little bit. So we have quite a lot of, I can show it here actually. We have quite a lot of nesting. So we have color, base, core, colors, primary. And what I want is mostly these two, and I don't really want these ones in the name. So I don't mind the nesting, but I just don't want those two properties to show up in the name. There's multiple ways to get rid of those, but I'm going to do it on the style dictionary level today. So what this will do, it will take the token name, we'll say split it up with the kebab case, and then just remove the first two, and then add a prefix called specify, or we could call it demo, whatever you like. So this will then reflect itself in our token names in the end. And here you can see that we have our platforms. So we're going to export to CSS custom properties, or CSS variables, also known as. And we will put it in our SD output folder under the name variables.css. This will be our tokens. So what we can do here, we have some transforms, and we can see here that we use these transforms that are out of the box from style dictionary, and then we add our own transformer over here. This is our reduced name thing, and that will make for some nice CSS custom properties if everything goes okay. So before I save it, what we can do is we can actually inspect elements, and we can open the console drawer. I'll make it a little bit bigger. So as soon as we save this, and I think it's already saved, it already ran. I have a space over here. As we save it, we should see some console output where it's running, but I think it already ran. So nothing has changed here. We kind of missed the console, it was already in there. So that's okay. So what we should be, we can see we have a SD output here over now. So it has been generated. We click on it. And now we can see, if we go to the root, we can see a variables.css, and we can see our specified tokens. And I'm actually quite happy with the names of the tokens now. So as you can see, it goes the prefix, specify, and then core, colors, primary, 50. That's nice. So yeah, I'm quite happy with these tokens. And now I think it's time to use these tokens and actually create a nice button component. So what we can do is we can go to components, and we can create a new component. We can say button. And let's start off with, in our source directory, we'll start with button.css. And in our button.css file, we'll start creating this button CSS component. I'm just going to go with very frameworkless, very vanilla JavaScript. I'm just going to create a CSS component, just to keep it a little easy today on the technology side. Already plenty of technologies flying by today. So we're going to make a button class. And we're going to start using now these custom CSS properties. So something that I do often is I just go in here, take these tokens, and I'll just copy them over for a little bit. So you can see what my tokens are. Comment over here. I can have a nice reference in the same file that I'm working in. So what we'll start with is we'll just make some background color. And we'll start for a second. And what we can do now is we can say our background color should be one of our tokens. So we have of course, our core tokens, but those are not the ones that we want. We can actually delete those because we're not interested in them. We have specific button tokens. So these are the tokens that we're actually going to use in the CSS file. So we have here a specify button primary hover background. We have our specify button primary background. That's the one that we want here. Look this up. We're going to put some padding in. I'm just going to go with, because we didn't tokenize the padding, so we're going to go with some placeholder values for now. We have a text color, and then we have our text color. So button primary, and it should be color over here. So it's this one. We'll have an outline of none for the base component, for the base button, no border, no border, and we'll put a border radius of some placeholder border radius, 25 rem or 0.25 rem, and we'll just put the cursor pointer as well if we like pointer cursor on our button. We save this with our button class, and let's just make sure that we can actually see it. So right now we can see that this is all white, it's all blank. We don't have anything yet, so let's make actually a little bit of a demo, a little bit of some documentation. We can click on doc here, and we can create that's an index.markdown file. So any markdown file will do. What we can do here, we can say we have a button and some button CSS components, some text over here. See if we save this, we will start seeing this. It still looks a bit ugly. We're going to make it prettier, but for now it's a good start. And we want to see our button component now. So what we can do in this markdown files inside of Backlight is we can use a syntax, and it's called Markdown JavaScript. So you can actually put code blocks in markdown files as you're used to. And if you put some code here, you will see the code block over here. You can also put script over here, and it will actually execute the JavaScript that you put inside of this. What we can do here is we can actually import our button CSS. We can say our button CSS, we want that imported. This is where our component comes from. And we also need to import the CSS variables themselves. So we can say, see, it's as the output / variables.css, if I'm not mistaken. And this will load the things that we need. Because we need our CSS variables, our tokens, and we need the button class to be able to make a nice button. So what we can do now is we can say demos, and we can say primary button, and we'll just make a primary button here. So what we can do here, primary button, and we put the preview story. So what we can do here with this is we can put some JavaScript inside here that is a component story format, and that way we can make a nice little demo in line with our markdown. So what we can do here is we can say export base. We'll just use this, and we can say our button. All we got to do is click me inside and put a class on. So we have a class called btn. What we see now is we see a button element, and we can see that it has the text color white, and it also has the background color. So let me zoom this in a little bit. See here, if we inspect the element, we can see here that it has the button class and it has these design tokens. It's using the design tokens directly. So we're getting pretty far now. So let's actually fix the button a little bit. So let's see. I'm actually going to just copy paste some of the code that I have prepared. You don't have to walk through, or you don't have to watch the whole thing. What we have here, I'll explain it briefly. We have a button hover, which is using the specify primary hover background. We have a focus state. This is also using, again, this focus outline color as a token. We have a box shadow. Again, it's using the token as the shadow. And we have an outline button variant. So if you put an attribute outline on the button, then you will get the outline variant of the button. And this is also using some tokens. So now we have this. Let's actually show that in the code. So if we go to doc now, And we can maybe make the other ones. So we can it's also copy pasted, by the way. So we have our outline button, and maybe this is just a regular disabled button. Click. Oh, I put actually, it's not necessary. Now we can see we have our primary button here. We have our disabled button, which has a different background color. It's not the perfect disabled button, but it works. It doesn't. You can see it doesn't have to hover, and it doesn't get focused. And we have our outline button. And the outline button, you can see it's it's pretty tough to see because we're actually in the Figma file. If I show this, we're assuming a dark background. So we're basically building a button for a dark mode application. And our docs right now is light mode. It's a white background. So maybe it's a good moment right now to make this doc look nicer. So what we can do is we can create a file called md.js config.js, and here we can configure our Markdown JavaScript, so how our docs are going to look like. So what we can do here is we can say export default, and we're gonna export a layout property basically. So we're gonna export the default object. It has a layout property, and here we can configure the layout of our docs. We're importing these layouts from doc layout, and yeah, we don't have this file yet, so let's actually make that. Save this. We can go to infrastructure, because this is again like an infrastructure component, and we can say doc layout. And inside here, in the source file, we can make a template.javascript file. In this template, we can export a layout template. So all we can do here is, and again, I'm going to copy paste some stuff that I prepared beforehand. I'll walk through it. So what we can do here is we have a export const doc layout template, and in here we accept the content of the docs and the context. And inside here we can put some styles, and we have a Docket layout component. This Docket layout component is something that we prepared for any Backlight user that they can use. It's an open source component, so even outside of Backlight you can use it. And it's just a web component that will be used in the MD.js to make the docs look nice. What you can see here is that we have a disable color scheme change. So we don't want a color scheme toggler because we only have dark mode. We say here that the initial color scheme must be dark mode, and we also add the class, which is a workaround for now if you want to have a dark mode by default. And then here we add a class. It's a Tailwind class. It's prose invert. It's just to make all the text white on a dark background. What you also see, we have a logo. So we actually want to have a docs with a nice little logo on the top, maybe the Specify logo. So maybe it's a nice idea to copy the Specify logo. So I make logo.svg over here, and I put the Specify logo in it. So I just got that copied on my clipboard. And let's save this. And this should give us a very nice layout for our docs, if we're not mistaken. So if we click on the button, we can see that we're missing some dependencies. So this makes sense. So if we go to our doc layout, we can see that we're importing from div-rights Docket core, and we're importing from lit. So it's a good idea to add those to our dependencies. So what we can do, we can go to our package.json, and we can go to our dependencies, and we can add them over here. So make this. Actually, no, this version number is from the top of my head, I think. And we want lit, which I think is 2.2.2. As soon as we add these dependencies, Backlight will make sure that those dependencies get installed. So next time we click on button, missing dependency. Oh, I did not save the file. Oops. Now I save the file, and it will start to install the dependencies. So it's pretty quick actually. And now if we go to button, we should see, we have a super nice looking docs now. So let's go back to that, let's pin this, and then go back to our doc layout, just to showcase it a little bit more. Let's close this. So what we can do here, as you can see, we have here called Specify Starter and our logo. So that's our header over here. You do that inside of a slot logo inside the Docket layout. And actually, it's specify demo. So let's just call it specify demo. So if we save it, we can see the change here. We can see that it's dark mode. So the background is dark, and all these things here are dark as well. We can see that we have nice code highlighting over here. So that's also a very nice bonus that she gets out of the box with this Docket layout. These buttons are nice looking now compared to before. And we can also see that our outline button is now nicely visible because we have a dark background. The white now stands out properly. So that's pretty nice. We can see that the focus ring works. We can see that the active works, the purple inside shadow. So our button component is basically created, and it's using our design tokens as we wanted. So that's cool. Let's merge. Let's make a pull request for this. So we're pretty happy with our button so far. We could probably make our docs better, but because it's a demo, we're gonna leave it like this. I'm gonna make a I'm gonna check. You can check here if you want. So if you want to see the code changes, you can do that over here. I think everything looks okay to me, so I just go create button component, set up style dictionary, pull request. Let's actually remove this comment. We don't need it anymore. You can also update the pull request. So if you change something after creating a pull request, you can create a new commit and update the pull request. So after that's done pushing, it's taking a while. Okay. We can click on here, and here we can review the pull request. And you get a nice little review in backlight.dev link so that you can show it to your other developers or designers, and that they can review the changes you made. So if I click this, cool feature, you can see kind of like a visual change. So if I click on the button, you can see that we went from blank to this. So this will be useful in the next step as well. So we'll get back to this nice div viewer. For now, it's a little bit, we went from nothing to everything. So looks good. We're gonna merge this. And now we're pretty close to having everything set up to show the magic workflow in full. So what now if someone wants to actually create or change a color, for example? So let's say that we think the hover color is maybe a little bit too much. So let's say that it's this hover color. We think it should be brighter, so it should be more obvious when you hover it. So maybe it's a good idea to change that actually in Figma. Let's start in Figma. So I'm a designer. Now I'm taking the hat of the designer, and I'm saying there's something wrong with this. This needs to be a different color, basically. We can go into Figma. We can go to our button, and we can see in our color styles we have a button over here, with a color style over here, button primary, hover, and we have background. So this one we could change. So we click this and we go change. We say maybe we want this to be, right now it's using maybe, let's say we want to do a very, very bright one. Maybe that's not very accessible, but for the purpose of the demo, we'll just do it. So now we've changed the background color in Figma. And you want, actually, when this change happens in Figma, that it gets propagated to the components, to the button components in Backlight. The designer changes something, and from there the workflow starts. So we go here to libraries. It sees that there's changes. So look at these changes. I'm going to say publish those changes, so we can see that the button component has been modified and the button primary hover background has been modified. Well, that, to me, is correct. So we say publish. And now comes the magic. So we publish this library. And now we have to go into Specify. So we open up Specify. And we go to our Specify demo, to our color tokens. And every 24 hours, this will automatically synchronize with Figma. But if we make a change and we want to be faster than 24 hours, then we can say, let's click on sync tokens manually. So we can say only color tokens, because we know that we only changed color tokens. So let's click that one. And what happens now is, if we wait a little bit, says synchronized is done. Your color token's up to date. And now we should get a pull request. So if we go to our Specify demo and we click and we see, oh, we got a new pull request because the token has been changed and synchronized. Here we can see in the files changed, we can see that this RGB value has been changed. So I think that looks good. And the cool thing that we can do now is we can actually merge this pull request. And by doing so, by merging the pull request, it will be on the main branch. But there's one thing that we don't have yet. So we have the style dictionary input changed, but the style dictionary output will also change. We know that, but it doesn't happen automatically yet. So this is actually where we have to do a little extra step. So to make it fully automatic, maybe it's nice to use GitHub Actions to, as soon as there's a pull request from Specify, we use GitHub Actions to run style dictionary over the input so that we get the output, and then we can add that to the pull request. Now we're full circle. So what we can do is we'll actually, I'll just clone this. I'll clone this repository and do this in my editor because it's a bit quicker that way. So I copy this. No, I have to go this. And what I will do is I will just clone it really quickly. Clone and open it. Now I got the repository opened in VS Code. So this is also a demonstration that you can, if you want, do things in your own editor. You don't have to do it in the Backlight editor if you don't want to. Create a .github folder. Inside we create a workflows folder. And inside this we'll create a, let's call it specify.yaml. And here we can add, we can create a GitHub action, so a GitHub workflow. And actually I already have this prepared as well. So let's actually put that on my clipboard. Then I'll explain what the action does. So this is what the action does. It says run style dictionary, the name of the action. It will do that on pull request. And note that here it's there's a run if. So it will only run if the head of the base branch is called specify. So for regular pull requests, I don't really want to run style dictionary automatically. I just want to do it for when specify creates a pull request. This way, if Specify creates a pull request with new style dictionary input tokens, I will run style dictionary on it so that I get my output tokens. So in this job, we have a couple of steps. We have check out the head of this PR. That's this step. So check out the code of the pull request. Then we say run style dictionary over it. And because we went with a common JS format, we can just run that with this one-liner. We can say install style dictionary temporarily and build it the config sd.config.cjs. Because it's common JS, that will just work. So it's a good demonstration that it's really easy to eject from Backlight if you want to. You're not tied to it. It's just then as soon as style dictionary has ran, there will be new output files, and those output files needs to be committed to Git. So there's a nice action that you can use called add and commit from endbug. And all you have to do is put your author name and your author email and a message and which files you want to add, and that will just commit and add the files to the pull request. So we'll go ahead and say, let's add this and commit it and say specify GitHub action. We'll push that. So now it's on main. So what we can do now is we can say here, specify demo, we have a pull request. What we can do here is we can say, let's actually close it. Or maybe I can add, I think if where can I close it? Missing a button. Oh, here, close pull request. So what we can do by doing this, we close the pull request and we reopen it, and that will trigger the workflow. So we reopen the pull request from Specify. And now it's where the interesting things happen. So we look at this, we can see, oh, it's the input. So it's still only the input files, but in the background, there's an action running. If I'm not mistaken. Yep, there we go. There's an action running. So in a little bit, we'll see that we get a refresh button here. So now it's just wait a little bit and yeah, there we go. We got a refresh button. So we refresh it, and boom. We see that not only the SD input has changed, we see that the SD output has changed as well. And this is our button. This is the code for our button. This is the token that our button uses. So the fact that this changed will mean that the button changes. So we went from a change in Figma to synchronizing it in Specify, and then the rest is all automatic. So we get automatic pull request, we get automatic style dictionary running on it, and we get also, this is even cooler, we get, if I'm not mistaken, we should get a preview link. Maybe go to settings and apps, and the Backlight app is installed. And maybe the Backlight app is not installed properly because we should see a preview link. That's a little bit annoying. Maybe it's still coming. Okay, usually if you have installed the Backlight app on your GitHub repository properly, I think we made a mistake somewhere, then you should get a link over here as a conversation. You can click the link and you can preview the change. Yeah, I'm not sure why that part is not working. Let's see, it says here that it has repository access for repository. That's maybe, yeah, no, this should work because I already know that I removed it and re-added it, so that should be good. Yeah, I'm not sure why it doesn't work. Well, either way, what we can do is we can merge it and we will see the change. So let's remember this hex code. It's now E0E. So if we merge this to main, and then we go to our Backlight repository and we go to main, so main branch. Let's refresh it maybe. And if everything is correct, we should go to the button and we should be able to see that the hover, yeah, you can see it's super, super bright. It's way too bright, but for demonstration purpose, yeah, it works. So we can see that the change happened. So again, like summarizing, we started with Figma. So we started with Figma and we changed the color over here. And yeah, we can do it again as well if we want. So, yeah, we changed it in here. We published the library in here, publish the library. Then we go to Specify. We're Specify over here. We say sync tokens, sync color tokens. That actually creates a pull request on the GitHub repository. This GitHub repository pull request then fires a GitHub action. This is the GitHub action. Where is it? I had it open somewhere. Let's see. I can click here, action, and it creates this GitHub action. And that actually does a run style dictionary step, which you can see here. Run style dictionary, and it creates this file. Then that file is committed to the pull request. So if you then check the pull request, you can see that, no, not this one. You can see that there's a commit now over here called Joren style dictionary output from the GitHub action. And you can see that actually the code has changed. And as soon as you merge it to main, you can see in Backlight that the button has changed now. So the source of truth is in Figma. You can make your design decisions in design tokens. And if you've got this workflow properly set up, then when the designer changes something, it should automatically create a pull request where the coded component changes. So that's yeah, that's the workflow. Anything you'd like to say, Louis?
No, besides good job. Good job, it works. We avoided the demo effect a little bit.
Yeah, too bad that the Backlight app was not installed properly, but yeah, it's, I think the power still shows.
Yeah, clearly.
All right, let's maybe see. I haven't been paying attention much to the questions. I see Ivo Herman says nice. That's good to hear. If there's any questions, feel free to ask, of course. And otherwise, I think we can end the stream here. Maybe Louis, you want to end it?
Okay. Bye, everyone. Thanks again.
Yeah. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.